no matter what genre of music you're making, if you are sitting there saying there's no money to be made in it, I'm just going to make it as a hobby, blah, blah, blah. Okay, make it as a hobby, but don't be posting shit about Spotify only paying X amount per stream. Don't be posting shit about so-and-so selling out. Stay true to who you are. If you only care about it as a hobby, then don't monetize off of it. Don't even try. Don't even think about it. And if you get money off of it, donate to charity. But if in reality, you're overwhelmed with the fact of the knowledge gap that you have, and to try to turn your hobby into a business or turn your love for music into a business, well, then you need to do what's necessary in order to fix that, whether it is gaining the knowledge and expertise or hiring that in, and then you can get that taken care of. What's up, y'all? Harkos here with the Music Making Sense podcast, and with me as always is the Dapper Dan Mohawk Man, the man who puts the word rock in Detroit Rock City, the one, the only KP. How the hell you doing today, KP? Doing awesome. Just been working with other artists and stuff like that, working with some more artists. As I said last time on the episode, I had started working with an artist who was trying to revive his old catalog, and it is going good with that. We got his website built for him. I built that myself and everything like that, and set up his MailChimp with it and everything like that, so we can start doing some email marketing. And we've just been putting everything together, putting the whole strategy together and everything like that to start remarketing his older music and everything, and getting it taken care of for him. And then I also started working with some other artists, and then I have another artist tomorrow that I'm supposed to have a meeting with, and quite possibly start working with. So things are doing good. I'm finally starting to be able to help out more and more artists. My day job, I was able to finally cut my hours back, so I'm able to have more time to focus on helping artists, which is good, because that's what I would much rather do. We've talked about this before on the episodes and everything like that, is that's what I want to do. I like doing this kind of stuff. I like having podcasts here with you. I like, going on these other podcasts I've been going on here lately. I like, interacting and helping other people, because, I got a couple podcasts that I actually work behind the scenes on. I've been helping them with their website and their video production and everything like that, like the video editing and, clips and stuff like that, and social media, marketing strategy and stuff like that to help them grow. So that's what I like doing. I like helping people and do all this stuff online, right? Working at, running a restaurant and serving people food is not me. You know what I'm saying? Like running like the business aspect about it, that's me, because I like doing business shit, right? Growing business and figuring out trends and, studying the psychology of people as to why they do certain things at certain times and everything like that. I like that part of it. But, just like the dealing with the customers, especially since I'm on college campus, and 70% or more of the clientele base that comes in there, the customers, they're all college students, and they piss me off in every way possible, from just being dumb, which I get it. I was a dumbass too whenever I was 18 to 22. Trust that I did some dumb shit, but between that and then the fact that their parents raised them with no form of patience or courtesy, and then, I'll be like in the middle of making somebody's order, and they'll walk in and then just expect me to just like start taking their order immediately. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the only one in here. I'm busy doing something. You could see me, right? Because it's like kind of an open kitchen concept, so they can see as I'm making food. It's like, it's not quite like Subway where there's like glass, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like the similar situation where you can see the whole operation going on. So they see. Right. So they see me with like my shoulder to them, like almost my back, but not quite, right? And they come in, I say, hey, I'll be with you in a couple of minutes, as I'm making the food. And they'll be like, oh yeah, could I get I'm like, I'll be with you in a couple of minutes, right? And I want to like tell them, yo, get the fuck out of here. Just go try it again, right? But, it's not my business. How about that? Let me just say that it's not my business, right? But if it was my business, I would shut it down, because running a restaurant doesn't have a high profitability margin, and yada yada, bing bang deal with labor and shit like that. Because I've already had multiple people quit on me over the last year that I've worked there, and stuff like that. People come and go, especially with college, dealing with college kids is like a good portion of your employee base. They're gone during the breaks and summers and all that shit. And then like, they just text you and say, oh yeah, I can't come into work Thursday like I was scheduled because I got a test. I'm saying, shit like that. And so like, I respect it at one extent because, they're not trying to be restaurateurs as far as I know. They're trying to do something with their life. They just don't know what the fuck they're doing yet. But yeah, so like that's something I'm trying to get away from. So the fact that I was able to reduce my hours from like 60 plus hours a week down to 40,
right,
that's freed up over 20 hours a week of my time. I've been able to fill it where I started going back to the gym, and it's pretty cool because I started actually going with my kids. So like I get off work and they get off work right about the same time. I grab them, we go to the gym and do some workout, and like I tell them I'm trying to get my sexy back, and so then we go and do that, and then come home and handle some business or whatever and hang out with them for a few and shit. And like I feel like we talked about it a couple episodes ago whenever you were talking about how I think it was right before you left Men's Wearhouse or maybe right around that time, and we were talking and I was like, do you ever feel like you're like trapped inside yourself and you can't, like, you just want to break free?
Yep.
Well, that's what I've been feeling like inside of my mind, because like there's like, like I say all the time, like I'm a genius, right? I'm the world's smartest person, but so there's all kinds of ideas and creative shit in my head, like things that I want to do, and like I got something I was thinking about back of mind, and then all of a sudden it pops in front of my mind. I'm like, oh shit, I could do that, and it would be able to fix this issue or help this thing or whatever, help this person or whatever, right?
Right.
I think about shit like that when I'm in the middle of doing something, but being so contained to being essentially forced to do something else the whole time instead of having the availability to do that, I feel like that part of my brain has been open and freed. It's been nice because like I got today off, I had yesterday off, I finally got 2 days off in a row now, and like 2 days off in total now. So like I actually was sitting around last night, like I was telling you a little bit ago, I was yelling at T-Pain on how to make a song right, because he would All right, y'all, let me take a quick break right here to tell you about something that's completely fucking ridiculous, okay? It's called HorribleDesigns.com. And I personally know the owner, and he's just as ridiculous as this whole fucking company is, okay? If you or someone you know loves stickers and mugs and shirts with crazy, outlandish sayings on them that just are designed to catch people's attention out in public and get them to laugh and point and ask you, hey, where'd you get that t-shirt, or where'd you get that sticker, when they see it on your car and stuff like that, y'all got to go check out HorribleDesigns.com. At HorribleDesigns.com, they have all kinds of ridiculous sayings on stickers and coffee mugs, t-shirts, vinyl stickers, magnets, and even mouse pads, okay? And I'm telling you, if you guys have not checked out HorribleDesigns.com, you got to go check it out, because some things are straight up great, like the American Muscle mouse pad. It's got some awesome pictures of great muscle cars if you're into cars, or you know somebody who's into muscle cars and they need some great mouse pad to have while they're on the computer working. But then they also have dumbass fucking t-shirts that say things like, are you staring at my ass, with a picture of a donkey on it, or stickers that say, are you staring at my beaver, with a picture of a beaver on it. Stuff like that, man. Completely ridiculous shirts and stickers, coffee mugs, everything like that. Anything that you could ever think about having just to get people's attention, make a statement out in public, and just completely be ridiculous, and to do it with some horrible designs at the exact same time. And like I said, I know the owner, so he hooked us up with a great deal where you can save right now by using the link below in the description. Whenever you go there and shop, you will not only support Music Making Sense podcast, but you also get a great deal on any and everything that you decide to purchase every time that you use that link right there in the description below. So make sure you go check that out right now, HorribleDesigns.com. Use the link below in order to get good savings. Go check it out. Buy some ridiculous shit for yourself or someone you know. All right, now let's get back to the show. Because I was listening to a couple of T-Pain songs on YouTube.
Right.
I was watching a couple of things on YouTube, right? Listening to some of his older stuff that I like, and all of a sudden it recommended this live stream that he did like 2 years ago where he like made a song from start to finish, right? And so I'm sitting there watching it and everything like that, and I ain't created a song in a few months, right?
Right.
And so like it was actually like helping me, because like I felt like I needed to create something, but it was like 1:30 in the morning and I was tired,
And you
so
were
my
tired,
brain
but your
wasn't
brain
working,
wasn't
but I still
working.
had like, yeah, my brain wasn't working to create. And I know if I would have tried to create, it would have been like all blanks. But I had like this urge inside of me, right? And so I was like, oh, cool, that'd be cool. And I started watching it and it started making me feel good. And I'm like it was like I was participating, even though I was just watching him do it, because he had his screen up with, I think it was Pro Tools or something like that. And then he had his auto tune in there and everything like that. So he's doing all that. He was laying it out. And one thing I realized is that he does what I do whenever whenever I'm creating music, is I'll actually sit there and kind of like as the beat's going, I'll be like, da, 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 right? Like how the syllables are going to play on it. I'll do that while I'm recording, and then I'll start writing and everything like that and filling all that in. And that's kind of how I make the music. Well, he does the same thing, except he wasn't writing. He was just kind of going. I don't know if that's how he always does it, or if that's how he's just doing it to try to show off on the live stream.
Right.
But so he was sitting there building it and everything like that, and it was pretty cool. And then he decided to add a second verse, and the second verse he was having problems trying to fill it in. And so like I'm sitting over here, like I said, it's a 2-year-old live stream, so obviously I can't type anything in there and give him pointers because he wouldn't get it. And plus it was on Twitch and I was watching it on YouTube, so it was like all that shit. It wasn't actually for reals. But like I felt like I was in the room with the motherfucker almost, And I was like, no, you need to go da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about how he could do it, because I love T-Pain shit. I mean, like, where's it at? Oh, there it is. 3 Rings right here. You know what I'm saying, from T-Pain. I mean, like I like T-Pain, and so like I know how he flows and everything like that too, because I've kind of studied it. And so I'm like, oh no, you need to do this, and then have like a right. And he wasn't listening. I was kind of getting frustrated because. Clearly, I wasn't in the room with him.
Like when you watching your favorite team on television, and this nigga and they don't hear you talk about, man, run the ball.
Right, exactly. It was kind of like that, right? It was my version of watching sports. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely interesting, man, because it was just fun, but I ended up staying up until like 3:00 in the morning doing it, you know what I'm saying? Until I like exerted that out of my system. I had to kind of get a little bit off, because I just had that. I had that excess build up, and I couldn't contact anybody because it was, middle of the night, so I couldn't try working with anybody or doing any networking or nothing like that.
Right.
So I was just trying to figure out something to do. So like, I got things I need to do, and I've been accomplishing things with my time off. Like I said, working with more artists now and reaching out. And like I said, I got another consultation with an artist tomorrow that I just booked up and everything like that.
Right.
So I'm starting to make some moves with that, which is awesome, because it gives me the motivation to keep going and to keep going, more and more. Yeah, it gives me that drive. But then also at the same time, I'm doing what I suggest, what I'm trying to help other artists do, right? So like I'm trying to help other artists build their base of operations so they can launch from there and grow a solid fan base that they can start eventually starting to get some monetization off of in some way, shape, or form, to where they can start getting away from their day job and creating more, doing the things that they enjoy more, and making money off of that in order to build true independence. Yeah, exactly. Instead of making it a hobby, we make it a business and stuff like that. So those are the kinds of things that I've been trying to work on and help out with people and everything like that. Because that like I said, that's just kind of one thing that I've been wanting to do to help with people. And I was on an interview with Pasha Pero the other day. Was that last week? Was it right, KP? Yeah, it was like last week. Yeah, because he had me on, and it was only supposed to be like an hour or 2 live stream, something like that.
Y'all went on for like 3 hours, man. You guys.
No, it was almost 4.5 hours, right?
Actually, it was
because
over
when we got
hours,
yeah, it was like 4 hours and some change, right? Yeah. So when we got on, he's like, all right, how much time do you got? And I was like, well, until I fall asleep. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And so he said, oh, I'll watch you and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, ended up going to get to the point. If you all watch that thing, it was over on his channel YNet7. So it's the letter Y and then the word NET and then the number 7. Go check that out over on YouTube. I live streamed it on our Facebook, X, and YouTube. It was simulcast live stream on there as well too, so you can watch it anywhere.
Right.
But make sure you go check him out over at YNet7. He's been doing some really interesting things. If you like branching out in your thought process, he likes doing that over there. And but anyway, if you watch like towards the end or whatever, like I'm doing all right whenever I'm talking, and as soon as he starts talking, I'm like start nodding off. And so yeah, that was pretty cool. But
he has a very stoic style
talking
about it, though. That's the thing too. Like what I've noticed with him when he's speaking, he has a very stoic approach with his speech. So that was something I totally noticed. So yeah, you can, even though it's like you get the point, but then it's like it's kind of like if you're a fast talker, you kind of do like what we do. You kind of go like you just kind of like just give you that relaxing, clairvoyant, or what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for to that?
It's like almost like a meditative type of state while you're learning.
Yeah.
Because he talks about a lot of like high level conscious type of shit, and we went deep into some shit too. And yeah, because I like talking about that kind of stuff. Yeah, and KP was actually in the chat. He's going to be on the live stream next time, but he was in the chat and he started bringing out some stuff to light as well too that kind of went with the topic and everything like that. So it was like a conversation and everything. It was pretty dope. Yeah, but the whole point of what we were saying, what we were talking about through that episode was like basically like creating your own independence. And that's what we're about here at Music Making Sense Podcast. He's about it in a different way. He's about like, free thought and everything like that. Here at Music Making Sense Podcast, what me and KP do individually as well as collectively is try to help y'all with your, gaining your independence with your music and with your music career and everything like that. And that's where we really try to help, and I've been helping artists, do that and everything like that. We've been working with artists and producers to try to help them do that. And, I would love to work with some bands or some kind of collectives and stuff. Because before it was around like episode 8 whenever I had I just went off the top of my head with like an idea that bands can do to promote, because they got so many different members that can use the different personality traits and all that fun stuff in order to hit different sub niches that would like their music, but also like their interests outside of music as well. And, but that's one thing where KP, he has a little bit more, like he can speak the language a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like I can speak to hip hop people and just sit there and just go, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a hip hop artist, been in this thing for a little while, so I can sit there and talk. KP, he's been in the rock thing for a lot longer, so he can speak that lingo a little bit better and help with them. But he was telling me he's been having some issues you were telling me that you've been having some issues with them trying to, them trying to distinguish between hobby and business and stuff like that. You just briefly told me, like, go more in depth, basically, like into what you're talking about with that, because you only briefly told me. You said you had to save it.
Well, it was more like, well, here's the thing. When it comes to rock and metal bands, I've noticed, especially metal, there's this tendency to believe that the music is just a hobby. And if they get signed, cool. But if they don't, okay, whatever. But the problem with that is with metal, they can make a lot of money, being that it's a very independent style of music. It's a very independent genre, and it's underground. So a lot of them don't realize that even as fans, like, look at where a lot of the money comes from. It comes from actual fan base and physical copies, physical merchandise. Merch always sells for metal bands, but the problem is they take it so much as a hobby that many of them don't go out there and get their shirts, like, because there's like a ton of bands here in the state of Washington. And I can tell you right now,
Right.
more than half of them don't invest into any type of social media, any type of advertising, or any of those things. Even most of them don't even invest into their own merch until they just really feel like it, or they'll just get it like it's one of those things where it's done in a half-ass fashion, right? And
Right.
it's not taken to a degree where they are a true one percenter. You only find very few bands
Right.
that do it, but from a monetization standpoint, you find that a lot of bands don't even make over, they won't even though they have the potential to, they won't push themselves to make over at least $1,000 a night, a gig that they have,
Right.
even though they have the potential to do so. So
And even though like the crowd's available, it's like a solid crowd. Obviously, if there's only 10 people there, it's gonna be hard to make a grand. But like if there's like 50, 100, couple hundred people there, then you should be able to do it easy.
and if you advertise,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, if you promote, yeah, like, and that's the thing, like,
Mhm.
even with you okay, you said 10. Now, 9 times out of 10, you got at least 10 people, and if they like your music, guess what? You got a great chance of all 10 of them buying your stuff. So you still can
Right.
make at
Bare
least,
minimum one or two. Yeah.
yeah, you can still make money. My point is that if you take it as a business instead of looking at it as a hobby, then it would be, you increase your chances of making money. And that's the problem, is that a lot of the metal bands don't do that. They don't take advantage of that. Yet they're the most
Hmm.
creative. They can make a lot. I mean, seriously, we
Yeah.
dominate when it comes to physical copies. Always have, always will. But that's the
Yeah.
thing, a lot of them don't get. So what do you think? Since you, because I mean,
Well,
because we look
see,
at hip hop, we see hip hop as hip
right.
hop guys jump on business. What do
Right.
you think I can do, or what we as music marketers, or even people who are in there, to get them, to convince them to, hey, make your money, because you can, and you don't have to worry about all the other stuff that you think you have to worry about.
Right. Well, so like what I was telling you when we were texting back and forth about it, you were saying that like they don't think there's money in it, so
Right.
they have it as a hobby.
Mhm.
And so I think that's like a self-propelling, Ouroboros prophecy type of thing where the snake eats his tail. Like, they don't feel that they have that there's money in it, so it's a hobby for them.
Mhm.
But since they've only kept it as a hobby, they haven't explored to making money, and so then they don't feel there's making money. So then it's just what I'm saying, it
Mhm.
keeps going. It's that perpetuating downward spiral.
Right.
And so, well, what I see right there is that they have a knowledge gap and a confidence gap, right? So they
Mhm.
don't have the knowledge to know, hey, you can actually do this stuff, right?
Right.
Here, like, even if they knew a few different ways, right? They still only know a couple different ways. But so then, since they don't have the knowledge, they don't feel confident in what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
So a lot of times they don't even do it. You know what I'm saying? And what I think is the difference, we talked about it on last episode. You said there's like a thing called lead singer's disease, where the lead singers like have this huge ego and stuff like that because they're the
Mhm.
front man, everything like that. That is a thing. However, at the same time, in rock and stuff like that, especially, people already have low self-confidence to begin with. So that's why they're out there making the music to try to get, build that self-confidence, because people will love me, shit like that, right? Kind of like comedians do.
Yes.
In my
Yes.
point of view, right? And
That
so they
makes a lot of
already have a low
sense.
self-confidence. Yeah, and especially like the heavier the music is, the more often they had like a rough childhood or some shit like
Mhm.
that, where people beat them down and shit verbally or physically,
Physically, yup.
stuff like that, right? I'm stereotyping the hell out of it, but in
No,
general,
but you are
right?
right. But no, you
Stuff
are
like
right.
that,
You are
right?
right in general. You are
Whereas,
definitely right.
yeah, whereas with hip hop, it's a solo act. It's all ego. And yeah, you still have people that went through all the shit that I just said, who have low confidence, everything like that. I run into that all the time. I got to try to pick them up and stuff a little bit, but if they don't pick themselves up, then I can only pick up dead weight so much.
Right.
But but in hip hop, the reason that they can succeed is because it's ego based and you're only depending on yourself and stuff like that. Whereas, but like I said, with a collective, you have so many different, like I've said this before, you not only have multiple different streams of income, so you have multiple people who can pitch in on the budget for marketing and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier. You guys can have a bigger available budget because it's not just one person. Like, if there's 5 people in a band and you're trying to have a $2,000 a month marketing budget, well, that's easy to split 5 ways. However, if you're a solo hip hop artist, for instance, you're trying to have a $2,000 marketing budget a month, you're paying $2,000 a month in marketing, and then you still got all your other bills and shit like that you need to take care of. So it's a lot harder to get started as a solo artist. It's so much easier as a collective. And, when it comes to merch, like, that's one thing I was thinking about this morning, honestly, like randomly on my walk, I was thinking about it. So you must have been thinking about it too. And like, the fucking collective consciousness let us know, because like, I was thinking about it. Like, I tell hip hop artists that when they create merch, don't have it be about them or their music. They need to have it be a creative piece of wearable content, right? That honestly, I always recommend that they have it as a separate entity from themselves as well too. And then they can kind of play off, oh yeah, look, I got this brand ambassadorship. I'm sponsored by this company. And so on the front face, it looks like, oh, look, you got a clothing company that rocks with you. You must be doing something. But on the back end, it's all you. You know what I'm saying? So like, it kind of puts that bigger brand out there as a brand boost for you as well as for the company. You kind of play off of that. And then you can kind of go from there, blah, blah, blah. Pay me to get more information. Here's insert my PayPal link right here for more information on how to grow that. But with a rock band, especially like rock and alt rock, all the different types of rock and roll, metal and everything like that, there is a subculture of people in that culture. It is a thing to wear obscure band tees that nobody's ever heard of, right? And so, like, everybody always, like whenever I was in high school, for instance, people were always wearing, like, Slipknot, and like all the big bands and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's cool to wear the big band shirts and stuff like that, but a lot of times in your niche, in your genre, it's cool to wear like all these obscure band tees that nobody's ever heard of. So if you are a band, it should be a lot easier to sell that. And you can come up with a marketplace, or you can try to find a marketplace that sells, it's called obscurebantees.com or something like that. If anybody wants help building that, let me know. Right, exactly. Stuff like that.
Here, I just read this. It says band t-shirts have been a staple of the fashion industry for decades, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay.
Well, who says this?
This is I'm just reading this in
you
Google.
Just said this, but yeah.
I was just reading this in Google because I just asked a question about band tees, about band t-shirts, and it just in Google I said our band tees in style 2023. And it says that, and it pops up, and it says in 2023, band tees for kids will continue to be a popular trend, with many parents wanting to share their love of music with their children.
So what I think you're talking about is how what it might be referencing, like, because Google normally pulls their answer out of an article. Does it say who wrote the article? Like, if you click on the link of that, it takes you to a website.
No, it took like it was like no, it took me to it was like so it would be a little shop group release, because it was just asking like because I was just asking that question when it says that.
Well, I do know that Gen Z likes nostalgia.
Yeah,
they are. I mean, like I was kind of into that whenever I was a teenager, but Gen Z is a lot more now, where I see people rocking bands that broke up before these kids were even thought about being born. You know what I'm saying? Like all the bands that were like popular whenever I was a teenager back in the 90s, like all the 90s rock bands, or even older than 90s, I see these kids rocking them and I'm like, yo, like your parents weren't even having sex whenever these bands split up, let alone were out. You know what I'm saying? And so, but like they like that kind of stuff. They like those music. And then like, even if they don't listen to the music, they just like wearing the shirts. Like it's the style and stuff.
It's the style.
All right, y'all, Harkos here. I just wanted to take a quick little break from the episode to let every single one of you artists know about a great opportunity for you to grow your online presence through blogs and social media for 30 days for only $10. If you've already been checking out the podcast, you know I've already talked about this a little bit here and there, but I created 10 blog websites that all have their own social media presence on Twitter and Facebook, and they are growing leaps and bounds, getting tens of thousands of impressions and eyeballs every single month. And that's just not in total, that's every single account. I have a full video breakdown available for this on every platform where you're listening to this right here, right now. The episode is called How Much Marketing Can $10 Get You? All right, I go through a full explanation of it, but if you've already watched that and you want to find out more, go ahead and go to musicmakingsensepod.com, send me a message in chat, and I will get right back to you, and we will get this rocking and rolling and get you growing on social media, especially if you want to grow that presence on Twitter or X. This will definitely help you out. Like I said, I got 10 blog websites with 10 different Twitter accounts that have tens of thousands of impressions every single month. You can be right there with them, getting all those eyeballs and growing your presence online. So make sure you hit me up right now, musicmakingsensepod.com. Hit the chat button and send me a message, and we will get you on point with this great new promotion. All right, let's get back to the episode. But that's a lot of like the big names. You'll see people, you'll see some 15-year-old walking around in a Nirvana shirt. I'm like, yo, come on now. Like, I was barely a teenager when Nirvana broke up, when Kurt Cobain said goodbye. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, so like, yeah, it's like, okay, you found it on the internet, which is cool, because the internet's bringing a whole lot of things. Like I've said before, my 15-year-old kid, he'll come in here sometimes and just look at my wall and then just look it up on Spotify and add it to his playlist and start listening. You know what I'm saying? And just then I don't even have to push it on him. I mean, it's just right here on my wall. And then me and him talk about music sometimes too. But yeah, like, it is a thing, but you can make money off of more than just merchandise, That's just one angle. And I think, honestly, that's like a low-hanging fruit, not shooting at you. I'm just talking about people in general in the music industry. That's like low-hanging intellectual fruit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People are like, all right, I'm making music. How do I make money off of it? Selling music and selling merch. It's like, come on, man. It's like not 1985 anymore. Can we fucking get with some new times? Because there's so many different ways you can skin a cat now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can come up with so many different things. You guys can have a podcast. You guys can get brand ambassadorships and sponsorships. You've previously had sponsorship, right? With like the Symbol Company or something like that.
Yep, I do. Yep. And
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Endorsement deals.
Yeah, you can get endorsement deals. You can just like you can build some kind of online presence. I get, like I said before, some of your group may not be front facing. I like to have the camera in my face, but there's at least one person in the group who does.
Yeah.
And so you can have them be like the main face, and then they can help pull in the revenue through affiliate deals and different other kinds of things. You guys can start a podcast.
But that's what your front person's for. That's the thing. That's what your front man and front woman are for. Like, the thing is, and just like, it just kind of, just so we could kind of wrap this one up, because it's kind of, I honestly feel like just 23 years of being in it is kind of a dead horse deal, kind of a dead horse ordeal. And I get where you're coming from. Like, yeah, but the thing is
you're kind of jaded on it.
Yeah, because here's why. Number one, it's just it's just a fact. Like, that's why. I mean, if you think about why venues are now wanting to take a percentage from merch, because merch does sell, especially for hard rock and metal. It will always sell. Like CD, the physical copies, the merch, the T-shirts, those will always sell, and so that's why they want that money, because it's one of those items that, like I said, it will never go out of style. So it's that longevity, right? We have that exactly. So
you're getting jaded because, like you were telling me, you're so frustrated. You get like red-faced arguments which could probably hard to do as a black man, but like you get red-faced arguments. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. You get red-faced arguments with these bands.
Face motherfucking arguments. Damn it, there it is, right there.
I didn't want to say that. That would have sounded really racist if I would have said purple face to you.
Because I say it all the time, so therefore.
Right, but anyway, that
even though red matches my skin, really compliments the skin awesomely. But yeah.
Right. Well, there's that, dude. Like, side note, that brings back some fucking hilarious memories from when I was in the Army.
Oh no.
My roommate was a black dude from New York, and we had another friend that we hung out with all the time who's from Virginia, another black dude. And those two guys, like me being the white dude hanging out with a couple of black guys, I could just only laugh at the shit that they would say. Yo, they would call people Barney because they were so black. They were purple. They would would make fun of people with huge lips and shit. Like
rubber.
Like they would do all kinds of shit. I'm just over here dying laughing. Like I can't say any of it, right? Like, and this was even back in 2005, right? But dude, I was dying laughing. So whenever you said purple, dude, immediately brought back. They literally called this one sergeant Barney, sorry, because they said he's so black, he's purple. But they. And anyway, shout out to dude, man, I miss those guys. Those fucking killer days, dude. But
hey man,
but anyway,
yeah, bro, yeah, military girl definitely.
Yo,
oh man,
all the time.
Oh yeah.
But I learned so much. I learned so much in the military, just not just from hanging around all different types of people, but hanging out from all different types of people from all different types of places and backgrounds and everything like that. It's so diverse in the military. It's crazy, you know. It's not like, you move to a big city and then you find some people who are transplants, but then other people who were born there, yada yada. No, in the military, you find 100% transplants. They were all picked from around the country, sometimes around the globe, and put into one location. And so, man, I learned so much shit about culture and everything like that, but just like about life in general, off of hanging out with them and like other people, even just, people from the same culture that's lived in different places and stuff like that, fuck, the first time I ever heard of Paul Wall was from some white dude from Texas screaming down the hallway. He was screaming down we were in training, right? And he was screaming down the hallway, "Who stole my Paul Wall CD?" I was like, "What the fuck is a Paul Wall?" Right? Because it was like 2006. I'm like from the Midwest, and like I'm like, "What the fuck is Paul?" Because Paul Wall hadn't popped yet, right? But he like had like Paul Wall like original old school CDs and stuff like that, like mixtapes, original shit. Oh, wow. And so he's pissed off about that, like stuff like that though. Hey, wow. But anyway, what the fuck is I talking about? Oh yeah, you've been getting so red faced and arguments with these bands and stuff like that, trying to get them to break out of, oh, it's just a hobby because there's no money in it. Well, it's like, no, there's no money in it because you haven't explored that option to make it not a hobby anymore. And you're jaded from spending 23 years in it too.
Yeah, I see that in jazz artists too. Like they just have this mindset, like I'm only able to make $250 from a gig, and I'm like, dude, you guys can make so much more money. I mean, hell, there's a local jazz vocalist here that I know, and a group, they already been nominated for a Grammy.
That's dope.
Right? They're called Sage.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it in any genre. Like, if you live or you live in or close by like a major city, like like a Seattle or an LA or a New York or something like that, or Atlanta, there's plenty of venue opportunities for you. And you're fighting amongst everybody else, but that's business. You know what I'm saying? That's survival of the fittest type of shit. You need to get your game up. But like, you can do it. You can start making a lot of the physical things, but you can even grow a fan base on the internet, no matter how obscure you are, because that's the thing, is that like, the availability for you to reach the exact people that will like your shit and get a couple thousand hardcore fans from all across the world that, stream your stuff or download your stuff or purchase your stuff as soon as you drop it, as soon as you ask them, they tune into the live stream and support you. They come out to shows when you're in their area and stuff like that. Buy your merchandise, be part of your street team in their area. You know what I'm saying? you can get people to do that online no matter how obscure you are. So, people think about it, jazz band. It's like, oh man, that's like so old school, like turn of the 19th century. Jazz was big back then. Jazz ain't shit now. It's like, no, like there's jazz bars in almost every major city.
Yes.
And then also too, like there's a ton of people that just love jazz,
Yep.
not everybody likes rock or hip hop, you know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Or country. There's people that like all kinds of stuff,
Yep.
man. Some people just like sitting around listening to symphonies, you know what I'm saying? Like people are so diverse in just their interests alone, let alone all the other, metrics that you can do it. So yeah, like when you were telling me that, you've been, trying to help out these bands, whether they're rock, metal, or jazz or whatever, and they're just kind of stuck, man. I mean, I see why you're jaded after 20 something years of being on the ground with it, trying to beat some shit into people's heads. But like at the same time, it just kind of is like, man, like
just get out there and do it myself. Like I'm not like it's like
yeah,
it gets to a point like it's like why worry about them when I'm just I can look at what I'm able to do. And I'm like, just yesterday I just got an email from one of the guys I was working with that I just met at the rally, and and I'm
right, the taxi conference,
yeah, and I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at myself and thinking in my head, like, you know what, man? I just sent him a nice little song that I wrote just with me, using my vocals and drum and just playing the drums on it. And he wanted to hear my voice. And that's what I was able to provide was my voice. Right. And I'm like, and I'm thinking of that, like, these are the opportunities that I can really get. You know what I'm saying? Like using my voice. I don't have to sit there and just, worry about, oh, well, when you guys, man, we just got to go out and have a good time, or we just got to go out and do this. And then like, you're feeling so, like you said, just feeling so jaded because you see them just wanting to just take, they talk about, oh yeah, I love the music and I want everybody to feel the music and we should just focus on the music, but we're only practicing 1 week out of the month, and then you're trying to play gigs in between that, and then when you fuck up as a drummer, you're just like, oh, get over it after the fucking you know what I'm saying? It's like you tired of shit like that, bro. Like you get tired of just being around that. It's just like, oh.
I could imagine that, man. Like I've never, well, technically I was in a couple of bands whenever I was in middle school or whatever, but like I'm like, I'm pretty much a loner for that reason. Like I collaborate with you, me and you are cool and everything like that outside the podcast. And I got other people that like, I handle business with and stuff like that. But for the most part, I roll solo and collaborate in strategic partnerships with people. But if they fall through, I still always depend on myself. And that's hard to do when you're a band. But with you, like what you're saying, you're like, I'm just going to do my thing, and you're basically going to lead by example, because you're going to show these people that as a collective, they can not only start practicing more. Maybe they don't have the time availability to practice like the Beatles did. You know what I'm saying? Like in that multiple year little thing where they were practicing like all day, every day or something like that and then all of a sudden they came back to America and they were like the biggest thing in the world. I can't remember exactly the whole story, but something like that. You may not be able to practice like that, but you can practice at least once or twice a week, bare minimum, you know what I'm saying? And get it going. But then you can also, like I said, you can practice to do shows, you can practice to do sync licensing and stuff like that. And then as individual solo artists, you can start doing sync stuff like what you're doing, where you collaborate with other people in order to create something, and you don't have to be tied down to like, oh, these are my bandmates, these are the only people I can make music with. It's like no, man. Like I sit and think about in rock, like all these different collectives, like was it Temple the Dog? There was like a collective with Chris Cornell and that
Eddie Vedder,
Jerry Cantrell from all them people, what I'm saying?
Eddie,
like they
would
come
Vedder.
together.
It was the members of, it was Eddie, Jeff. So it was Chris, Eddie, Jeff,
Wasn't the dude from Alice in Chains there, the guitarist?
No, Jerry didn't play in this band.
Oh, no,
Jerry didn't play.
Dog.
No, he wasn't in Temple.
Okay.
No, it was just members
Okay.
of, it was Chris, it was Soundgarden and Pearl Jam mix.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a good mix because Chris
Yeah, it
Cornell
was.
was the shit, you know. But then there's also what's the name of that one that Dave Grohl put together with it was Dave Grohl, one of the dudes from the Beatles, and Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and Corey Taylor was singing the song. It was uh Sound City Collective or something like that. It was like one song. It's fucking dope. I'll send it to you after this. But yeah, maybe you can Google it or whatever. It's called From Can to Can't or something like that. Um, and but yeah, like people put together those collectives all the time to do like solo independent projects and stuff like that. It can be done so much more nowadays
Hmm.
where, you know, people like yourself, you meet up with one drummer from band X over here, and then a guitarist from band Y over here, and then, you know, a bassist from band W over here, and then y'all just create like one song, and it does great for you know, it gets put in a movie or something like that. Well, all y'all are getting a cut off of that, and then you can still be in your own bands as well too, or do whatever the fuck you
I
want to
mean,
do.
like, and
Like
even just like what I
building the
did.
independent freedom.
Yeah. Just like what I did with well, I mean, I didn't get a chance to, unfortunately I didn't go play, but just being able to do like projects, like me being able to be a sideman as a drummer, you know, like
Right, yeah,
doing that
with
with
what's his
strings,
face.
yeah, with
Yep.
strings and stuff,
Yeah,
like
strings, yep.
any other strings, EMB, and other
Mm-hmm.
artists out there that's in like R&B or hip hop that I could play drums, because I love playing hip hop and R&B drums, so you know
Right.
I could do that, which is a
Yeah, and
really
you can
fun
do
thing to do. And that's the thing, like I'm able to get out there and just like, it's like, man, when you tie down with the band like that, especially with back then, it was like that mentality of like, oh well, you need to stay with the band and then you can't do other projects. Like that's how it was for me. Like I was always in those type of bands, and I'm just like, man,
mm-hmm.
I got tired of it because they were just so limiting too, like with the sound and style, and just, and even with the way they want to do business. Like it is like either they really didn't even want to do business. It was always just, well, just have a good time and don't forget to have fun and all that. And it was like, but it's not
Basically
fun
a
when y'all
party.
do it like that.
Yeah, when you're doing dumb shit, it's not fun. Like when we're not
No.
winning, it's not fun. Like everything's not always a win, but fuck, man, let's at least try. Let's just try. Like let's succeed. Let's have success. Let's have
Yeah.
fun. And then when we do have wins, then yeah, we can party and shit. But yeah, like sometimes I've seen that as well too, where like, you know, I've went to live shows or whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
can tell visibly that like the lead singer is drunk as fuck as soon as they get started. You know what I'm saying?
Because
And it's
sometimes they're
like,
miserable.
yo, you came here to party. Yeah, well, there's that, but it's like you came here to party. You didn't even come here to fucking perform.
Perform. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's messed up. But
it is.
but you know, like what you're doing, you're creating a life of true independence, and you're trying to help other artists and show them to do they can do the exact same thing through sync licensing and strategic partnerships. You know, to create music and
Yep.
collaborations and stuff like that. You know, all over. That's definitely key, you know. And you know, me and you were talking about like I said, about this topic through text message the other day or whatever. You wanted to save it. That's what I would recommend is, you know, like, you know, yeah, there's more ways to make money than just merchandise, and you can kind of be more obscure with it, but
Right.
also, you know, sync licensing, and then not trying to worry about the collective so much, you know, which is going to be difficult because there's always that one, at least that one band member who he like he's like the weight on the whole band,
Mm-hmm.
where he like if any of the band members try to leave, well, he's like nothing without the collective, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is how he feels and stuff like that, or she, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, all that shit.
And
And
that's where you can
so
start
that can
hiring
make
your
it
own
difficult.
musicians.
All right, y'all. I just want to take a quick break right here to tell you about something hot and spicy. And no, I'm not talking about that Latina thing that you saw on Tinder the other day. I'm talking about hot sauce. And not just any hot sauce, but Tennessee Hot Sauce Co. All right? I personally know the owner of Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, and I've seen him grow this company from just something that he would sell a few bottles at the local farmer's market to something that can ship all across the United States now, all right? And you guys have a unique opportunity right now to save 20% by using the code MMCPOD when you check out on any order over at Tennessee Hot Sauce Company's website. All right, that's tnhotsauceco.com. Make sure y'all go check them out and use the code MMCPod over at checkout and save 20%. You guys got to check this out. All right, they have all kinds of great flavors. My personal favorite is poblano jalapeno. It has a mild kick to it because I'm a little bit of a bitch when it comes to spices, but it has great flavor. I put it on all kinds of stuff. I put it on steaks. I put it on burgers when I'm cooking them. I put it on tacos and enchiladas, stuff like that as well too. But I've tried many of these other flavors like the garlic habanero and the honey habanero, the blood orange ghost, and the pineapple habanero. Now, the pineapple habanero was one that really snuck up on me because it had a great sweet flavor of the pineapple, and it wasn't nothing overbearing, but it had a very good flavor to it. And then all of a sudden, boom! I got hit in the ass with a habanero, and I had to go grab some milk, all right? But these are some great flavors, and they have all kinds of different options. They have the collection, which has the full lineup of all 6 of their most popular sauces. They also have different subscription boxes. You have a 3-sauce option, a 4-sauce option, yearly and bi-yearly options available as well too for the boxes. Then you also have all kinds of other new flavors that they have that I've never tried yet. I actually got to get that shipment in here soon of the barrel-aged whiskey and the mustard dill scorpion. Those are 2 that look very interesting, and I want to try them out. One thing I did try is one of their new options that they have here, which is the poblano jalapeno beef jerky. But like I said, I love the poblano jalapeno sauce, and whenever I tried this jerky, no bullshit, I ate the whole bag before I can even sit down and shoot this promo right here, all right? And so luckily, I know the owner, like I said, so I got another bag on the way, but y'all gotta go check it out. And he also told me they got some more flavors coming out of the jerky as soon as they get operations up and running on that brand new venture right there, all right? So again, make sure y'all go over tnhotsauceco.com, use promo code MMCPOD at checkout and save 20% on your order. And on top of that, orders $50 and over are free shipping in the United States. So again, make sure you go check this out. Small batch, small brand, but powerful flavors. Tennessee Hot Sauce Company. Now, let's get back to the show. What was that? Yeah, you start hiring your own musicians.
Yeah, that's what I like. Just look like, because if you think about Ghost, and what he does is that he writes the music, but then he hires the musicians to perform with him.
That's pretty good. That's brilliant. A good idea. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about the band breakup shit anymore. You know, I mean, because like, you know, that was always one of the biggest problems. I think we talked about it last episode and stuff like that with the ego and everything like that. The band's breaking up all the time because of
even
it,
like rap,
especially the more success that they get. Yeah, the success that they get and stuff like that. Like, you know, that's one of the negative things about that kind of stuff, man, is that always happens. And, you know, that's something that kind of happens in hip hop, but mostly doesn't because they're all solo acts. You know,
but then that's why a lot of the rap collectives don't. That's why you saw a lot of rap collectives fall off though too.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Well, I mean, because the rap collectives fell off the same way that the rock collectives fell off. It's just rap collectives are fewer than, you know, in rap than they are in, you know, than collectives are in rock, you know what I'm saying? So it like they had the same ratio of collectives failing, you know, 50-60% or whatever, but you only had so many collectives, you know. And facts. You know, yeah, and then you'll have artists and stuff like that.
Even though we do have a group hip hop group all-time list.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like, you know, even Bone Thugs and Harmony, they've had multiple falling outs. You got Wu-Tang, they've kind of had falling outs, but they've basically had separations, you know what I'm saying? They never really fell out. They just kind of like did their own things, you know what I'm saying? Method Man went out and he did other things, and, you know, Face did his stuff, and, you know, Scarface, all that kind of stuff, right? You know, people always do that. But like, for instance, you know, right here, Lil Wayne, he had a falling out with Birdman, you know what I'm saying? You know, AKA Baby, which is hilarious, but he, you know, he had a falling out with him and stuff like that. That kind of stuff happens in hip hop, but you don't see things completely just shatter because it's not I mean, well, yeah, I mean, you got G Unit right here that kind of collapsed, but every time that there's a lot of times when there's collectives, they kind of collapse. UGK collapsed because one guy died, unfortunately. You never know what could have happened in the future, though. Stuff like that.
Outkast.
Because yeah, Outkast, they both had two separate directions they wanted to go. Andre 3000 wanted to play flute, apparently, and Big Boy wanted to start making more pop music and stuff like that, right? So they, they had their own things or whatever.
That's just funny how you said that.
Hey, look, man, I only said that because a lot of people have been shitting on him because of that flute album.
Majorly,
dude,
bro.
Mad. And dude,
my
like,
God, like, leave the man alone.
Yeah, I got nothing love for the dude, but like, what I think is interesting about him is he hasn't released an album in forever. Like, I think like the Idlewild shit was like the last thing that he actually put out, right?
Right.
And he was asked within the last like year or two if he would ever start coming, or like what he thinks about older artists from his generation still making music today, like Nas or Redman, people like that, right? And if he would ever come back, because he was like a goat in lyrics and shit like that.
Oh yeah. Like Eminem, Eminem deems him as a GOAT. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's up there.
I mean, everybody always does. I mean,
well, no, I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, he's deemed as that, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, he was even on DJ Drama's Gangsta Grill's mixtape, the album, you know what I'm saying? And he went in there, he dropped a fucking a verse that was fucking phenomenal, right? He's always been able to do that. And so when they asked him, they said, are you going to come back? You ever thought about doing some stuff or whatever? And he was like, he said something to the effect of he doesn't know what he could offer the game because of the lyrical content that he could put out. He didn't feel that he could deliver lyrical content that would resonate with people today because he's that old artist or whatever. Like I think he said something like, at 50 years old or 50 something years old, what could I possibly offer the game or whatever? And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
he's younger than
everything.
Me.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, he could offer everything.
Yeah, he could.
Because, like, not only is, right there, not only is he an OG in the shit, but like, and so he's been through all of it, so he could be a mentor to some of these young cats and everything like that. Especially the hyper creative ones like Tyler the Creator and Chance the Rapper and Lupe Fiasco, all those type of people, right? That are hyper creative. He could be a mentor to them, be like, hey, even though you're different as fuck, look at what I did, being different as fuck, right? And then, but even still, I mean, he could be dropping like. He was always a conscious artist. He could drop more conscious shit about today's shit, but he's like, oh no, I can't do that. And then the album he does drop within like a year after that is like an instrumental thing where he's playing a flute and everything. And so of course people are going to shit on him because not only did you say you have nothing to offer music anymore, then whenever you do you come with something so obscure that most of the hip-hop population says, oh yes, you're right, you have nothing to offer the hip-hop community anymore. You're correct, 3K. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, of course, people are going to shit on you. But if he would have came out with an album where he just dropped all the bars possible, people would have been like, yo, that's what's up. That's 3 Stacks. He's back again. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything. People would have loved it. You know what I'm saying? So whenever he comes out and says, I have nothing to offer hip-hop, and then he comes out and he plays a flute, people are like, yeah, you're right, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't, you know what? Okay, I have to admit, I didn't think about it like that. I was just kind of like, I was more like understanding of the fact that he felt like that because that's what I did with Sonic Chaos. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you still have the capability of singing. And that's what I had to tell myself. And it's like, even for him, it's like, yeah, I understand you probably just you felt like you didn't have the juice. But
yeah,
you definitely,
that's probably what it was.
Yeah, but here's the point. Here's the counterpoint, I should say. And I think you really summed it up greatly. He has a lot to offer at his age. It's a lot that needs to
Oh
be
yeah.
said. He needs, it was like somebody said, who was it? Oh, it was Ice-T. Ice-T was saying that young people were asking him if he could put out more music like Body Count and being more about the protests and things like that. And Ice-T was like, well, it's up to y'all now. You younger guys need to do it. You younger people need to do it now, right? But the thing is, people like him started it. They started it. So now the leadership, it's like now you're still a wolf. That's just like it was who was it? It was like Brick Baby was saying about being a Crip. Like, yeah, you got retired gangbangers, but you ain't just tapping out of it. You ain't just tapping out because no, nigga, you don't just tap out of your rag like that. You ain't just giving up your flag like that. No, when you've spoken out like that, when you made Cop Killer, when you made that type of music, guess what? You've grown into now you are leading a young pack of wolves. And that's what it is now. Public Enemy. Now guys like Public Enemy, guys like Bun B, Sauce Money. Shout out to Sauce. I love Sauce Money. But guys like them, even like Travis Barker now, these guys are leading the charge. They're the leaders. They're leading these young pack of wolves. So now, guess what? Just because you done win a little Hollywood and you got, you know what I'm saying, you came up like how everybody wanted to see you come up because you were struggling. And that's what we see too. We see that example. But now you got to lead the wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like I kind of wonder exactly what is making that happen. Is it the fact that, because there's always been a situation where like the generation that's aging out, they'll be the mentors to the younger generation. And then once that younger generation starts having mentors, then the older generation fades away because then they're like 2 generations removed and they're like super senior citizens and shit like that.
Yeah.
Right? And they kind of like go away, but they're always seen as like the old sage, right? And I wonder, especially when you're talking about like, Ice-T and all of them, dealing with, shit within the Black community and stuff like that. I wonder if they saw how Tuki and all their big leaders and stuff were taken out for having a following. And they're like, I don't want a following. I'm not trying to get taken out. I wonder if maybe that is what scares some of them, not all, but some.
But here's the thing. Tuki's got a body count.
No, I'm not,
right. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that whole
thing.
So, but for like someone like an Ice-T or Chuck D or like Zach De La Roca, someone like that, or even like a Tupac, rest his soul, they do lead the young pack of wolves.
Yeah, there are some people that do, but like the people that
they have
don't,
to.
It makes it. Yeah, like the people that don't do it, it makes me think, oh, are they scared because they saw that, or are they just not leaders to begin with? They just happen to be thrust in a position, and they just feel
maybe they feel like maybe they feel like they're just like Kevin Durant. They just want to play ball. They just want to hoop. They don't want to take on the leadership like a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan or Kobe did, rest his soul. Right. But here's the thing. And I think I think we always need those type of people. We always need those support type of dudes. We need those type of cats that just, hey man, they're the nose to the grind, don't really say much, get the job done. And we need that. But again, when you're put in the position of where Andre 3000 is, who's looked at as he's looked at as a GOAT. Now, it's like it is different for him. It was like it's pretty much, and I mean, I was mad at Leslie Jones, who was all mad at him because one of the white dudes was saying like, I can actually understand what he's saying now in his lyrics. It was funny as hell. It was off of they were on what was the one Trevor Noah did. That he just left.
The Daily Show.
Daily Show, yeah.
Daily Show.
So, and Leslie Jones was like, no, damn it. I'm Andre 3000, you are one of the best rappers in the game, and your ass coming out playing a flute. She was, and I was like,
Right.
oh, shut the fuck up, Leslie. But now that I think about it, I have to say, unshut the fuck up, Leslie. I totally agree with you, darling. I started thinking about it like, yeah, Dre,
yeah,
you can
it is
rap.
kind of like it is kind of like a what the fuck, but at the same time, you can't really knock somebody for changing who they are to be whatever they want to be.
No, and like I said, I totally understand it, but here's the thing.
That's where that's what I see a lot of these people, especially you want to bring up Leslie Jones. She's always talking about, oh, let people express themselves however they want, and then when somebody does something she doesn't like, she wants to be all up in their ass.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when somebody lives their life how she doesn't approve of, I'm gonna get into that. Yeah. But anyway, so like, you know, there's that, right? People, but at the same time, he wants to be who he wants to be, which he's always been, right? That's one thing people forget, is that he's always been like that, you know? And so he's always been different, and he's still always going to be different. That's just who he is. And so, because he reached a certain level of what he did, he doesn't want to do that anymore. Okay, cool, you know? But yeah, it is something he had to have known that he was going to get shit for. And he had to have made that decision. Either I don't give a fuck, or you know what, I don't know. I would like to see if he comes out with a single rap track or even a rap album or something like that after this. And
I was hoping that he would
everything.
I was hoping that he would do maybe some poetry on this album.
Yeah.
Like I really was like, I was like, you know what? Because when I listened to I listened to the full album, and I can definitely see where he was going with it. But I was like, man, if only he would have started speaking poetry on this, or just speaking, just hearing his voice. Like if he would have just spoken about, just told the story. His voice. It's not even about, I mean, to me personally, now when I'm thinking about it, because I'm listening to it, it was like a free jazz. It's like kind of a free jazz album. And the type of instrument he used was like it was aerophone, one of those Roland aerophones, which is a MIDI woodwind, like wind instrument that plays all of the like saxophones and trumpet and all that stuff as well. And also he could put other sounds to it, too. And I could hear the direction it was going. But even with like, because if you read the titles, it's like, dude, why didn't you just tell that story? Why didn't you just speak it? Just say it. Right, because the main thing it was his voice. It's not so much that he didn't need to rap. He could have just spoken. Right. Could have just been spoken word. Andre 3000 playing instruments, evolving with the instrument, and spoken word. That would have been amazing. I think that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been, because I mean that's what he's always been, is lyrics. Yeah, one way, shape, or form. He doesn't have to get on a hip hop beat.
Words.
Yeah, he doesn't have to get up a hip hop beat, but it's the words that come from the thoughts in his head. That's what people have always liked. That's what people wanted. You know, that's not what people expected whenever they got what they got from him. You know.
Yeah.
And so, but that kind of goes to building your brand. You know, and that goes to, you know, making sure that you have the solidarity in what you're doing. And even if you change, you change who you are, what you're about, stuff like that, which we all do as we age and as we go through different life situations. You know, you still got to sit there and think, okay, well, you know, who am I doing this for? Because if he was truly just doing it for himself only, he wouldn't put it out to the world. So he was trying to do it for somebody. Now, who and the why and everything like that, that's completely within him.
Right.
But you as an artist, you listening right now, as an artist, like, you need to think about that kind of stuff. If you're doing something only for you, then just know that if you put it out to the world, it's going to get recepted however it gets recepted, regardless of your intentions. So if you are sitting there saying, hey, I'm just a hobbyist musician, I'm putting this out just because I want to put it out, but I created it for me, not for you, then don't pay attention to the stuff, right? Just continue being that hobby artist and don't worry about the stuff. But when you are saying, oh, I'm just doing it to be, as a hobby, but then you're bitching because there's no money in it, it's like, oh wait, you actually do want the money in it, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Well, then you need to learn, or you need to hire somebody like myself or KP to help you make money off of that. You know what I'm saying? You need to invest into gaining the knowledge and the expertise, or hiring in the knowledge and expertise to help you grow that to where you can turn that hobby into a jobby. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like what I did right
Bar.
but no, like that was kind of Blue's Clues style.
That
bar,
was
but yeah,
spirits all over me belly, all over me telly, spinning me all over me belly.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of that's kind of this what in general what we want to talk about. That all ties in. If you, no matter what genre of music you're making, if you are sitting there saying there's no money to be made in it, I'm just going to make it as a hobby, blah blah blah. Okay, make it as a hobby, but I don't want. But make sure you hold yourself accountable, and don't be posting shit about Spotify only paying X amount per stream. Don't be posting shit about so and so selling out. Don't be posting stay true to who you are. If you only care about it as a hobby, then don't monetize off of it. Don't even try. Don't even think about it. And if you get money off of it, donate to charity. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Stay true to who you are. But if in reality you are, you're overwhelmed with the fact of the knowledge gap that you have, and to try to turn your hobby into a business, or turn your love for music into a business, well, then you need to do what's necessary in order to fix that, whether it is, like I said, gaining the knowledge and expertise, or hiring that in, and then you can get that taken care of, so I mean, yeah, I don't see any excuses. Last week we were talking about obstacles and we were away and shit like that. I don't believe in any of that shit. Like, obstacles are just meant to be a learning opportunity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And to test you. That's what they are. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't, I don't see anything like that. But yeah, if you are an artist out there and you're kind of in that situation, or you want some more help with anything that we've talked about here today, any ideas that may have popped in your head that you want to ask us about or whatever, hit us up, musicmakingsensepod.com, for all the streaming and social platforms. You can send us a message directly on the website. You can send us a message on any of our streaming platforms, and you can hit us up there. I do know that KP has started doing some live kind of like Ask Me Anything type of things. Mm-hmm. Those will be coming out here more frequently and stuff like that as well. I'll be doing them
starting on Wednesday. Starting on Wednesday, I'll be doing them. So it's Wednesday, not noon my time.
Wednesday at noon Pacific, so that's 3 Eastern. So you can hop on there and hop on live with him and stuff like that, ask us some questions. If you're unable to make it during that time frame, but you still got some questions you want asked, and you maybe have them last on the live, send a message at musicmakingsensepod.com. Send a message to us and title it, hey, you want this question answered on KP's live or whatever, and we can get that taken care of for you.
Yeah, I'm going to be going live on my personal page too, because we're just
right. Yeah. Yes, to keep it spread around. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, just keep on tuning in here every single week. We're going to keep dropping some knowledge and just thought-provoking conversation that can possibly spur creativity within you in order to help you create, the independence that you're looking for in your music career, and turn that hobby into a jobby, as I said like a 4-year-old a second ago. Word. And but yeah, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun shit. Let us know if there's anything we can help you out with. Until next time, keep rocking. We'll see you then.
Word. Holla, y'all. Yeah.